Good evening, everyone, and welcome to SUNY Plattsburgh's online information session on the School of Education, Health, and Human Services. My name is Rayanne, and I'll be your host this evening. I do work in the admissions office at SUNY Plattsburgh, and I'm joined tonight by two faculty members on campus. If the two of you wouldn't mind maybe starting just by introducing yourselves and explaining your roles on campus.
Hi, I'm Sarah Charles. I work in the nursing department. I work as the clinical coordinator, so I set up all the clinicals for the nursing students.
And hi, I'm Jean Mockery, and I am in teacher education. I am the undergrad program leader. I teach courses in the program, and I'm involved with field and going out into the schools with the students.
Great, thank you. And so you all know we are also joined by two currently enrolled students here. We have Andrea Lopez, who's a nutrition major, and Andrea Parnes, who is a childhood and special education major, and they'll be joining us a little bit later on tonight. So to give you an overview of what to expect tonight, I'm going to spend the first roughly 10 minutes going over the education, health, and human services field overall, some job statistics, job opportunities, growth rates, median salaries, that type of thing. Then I'm going to move on and talk about specific majors in EHHS at SUNY Plattsburgh, and I'll allow our faculty members here to kind of dive more deeply into their majors and open it up to Q&A with you guys. So if you have any questions for our faculty, that's why they're here tonight, so definitely utilize that chat box that you see on your screen and type in any questions that you have for us. I'll be monitoring that throughout the night and facilitating those discussions. About halfway through, we'll switch out our two faculty members with our two students, and our students will also be available for Q&A. So if you have any questions that you think would be better suited for a student, again, use that chat box that you see, and I will be asking any questions that you ask throughout the night. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on my portion of this presentation. So I spent the last, I'd say, month or so working alongside our Career Development Center here, our CDC, specifically with a career counselor, to get a better feel for the education, health, and human services field overall. We worked with the United States Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics a lot. It's BLS.gov. I've included that as a reference slide for you all later on in this presentation. My main takeaways were, number one, these fields are growing, so nearly 700,000 new jobs in education are projected to be added by the year 2024. Also, employment in the healthcare occupations are projected to grow 19% by the year 2024, which is over double the national average. Also, these are well-paying jobs. So the median salary for workers in the healthcare field is over $62,000 per year, and it's over $55,000 per year in the education field. Both of those are well above the national average for all other workers, which is at $36,200 per year. So I think the combination of there being a demand for these jobs mixed with these jobs being well-paying are making these a marketable profession for prospective students like yourselves to get involved in. So now, as admissions professionals, a lot of the questions that we get asked are, what could I do with this major, or what could I do with this degree? So what I've done here is kind of compile a list of possible job titles that you could find yourself in if you were to major within a certain major at EHHS at SUNY Plattsburgh. So for example, if you're interested in education, you could, of course, become a teacher. You could become certified in grades K through 6, 7 through 12, special education, post-secondary education. You could become a principal. If you're interested in managing a school's curriculum, you could become an instructional coordinator. If you're interested in our nursing program, you could become a registered nurse or continue on and get a master's degree in a specialized area like you see below. If you're interested in our communication disorders and sciences program, that leads to careers in either audiology or speech-language pathology. We do have an undergraduate social work degree that could prepare you to become a social worker. We have a fitness and wellness leadership program that could lead to a variety of careers, one of them being an athletic trainer. And we also have a nutrition undergraduate degree, which could lead to you becoming a registered dietitian or nutritionist. So what I've done next is kind of handpick a few of those different careers, and I'm going to delve a little deeper into them to explain job duties, also job outlook, and median salary. So the first one I've chosen is registered nurse. RNs provide and coordinate patient care, educate patients and the public about various health conditions, and provide advice and emotional support to patients and their family members. The job outlook here is at a 16% growth by 2024, and the median salary last year was over $67,000 per year. Now, if you were to continue on and get a master's degree in a specialized area, you could become an advanced practice registered nurse, or an APRN. They coordinate patient care and provide primary and specialty health care. They must earn a master's degree in one of those roles. The job outlook by 2024 is actually at a 31% growth, which is just astronomical in this field, and the median salary last year was over $100,000 per year. Now, the next jobs I've chosen is a speech pathologist or an audiologist. Like I said, we do have that communication disorders and sciences degree. One option you could choose within that is to get a master's in speech pathology. Speech pathologists assess, diagnose, treat, and help prevent communication and swallowing disorders from stroke, brain injury, hearing loss, developmental delay, Parkinson's, et cetera. There's a 21% growth in this job title, and the median salary last year was over $73,000 per year. Now, you could also continue on and get a doctoral degree in audiology. Audiologists diagnose, manage, and treat a patient's hearing, balance, or ear problems. The job outlook here is at a 29% growth, and the median salary last year was almost at $75,000 per year. The next job I've chosen here is an athletic trainer. I mentioned we do have this fitness and wellness leadership degree. So athletic trainers specialize in preventing, diagnosing, and treating muscle and bone injuries and illnesses. You could work in an educational setting, a hospital, fitness center, physician's office, or for sports teams. There is a 21% growth outlook by 2024 here, and the median pay is almost at $45,000 per year. And the last job I wanted to mention was a social worker. I did mention we have this social work degree. So social workers help people solve and cope with problems in their everyday lives. Clinical social workers also diagnose and treat mental, behavioral, and emotional issues. There's a 12% growth in this job by 2024, and the median pay is over $45,000 per year. Now, at this point, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about specific majors within EHHS at SUNY Plattsburgh. So SUNY Plattsburgh was actually founded as an education college. Back in 1889, we were a state normal and training school, so education was our only major. That trend has continued on today, with education continuing to be one of our most popular programs. So there's a variety of options. There's childhood education, special education, adolescent education. There are a few 5-year combined bachelor's and master's programs, so you could actually save a year of time and money. So that senior year, when most students are finishing up classes, these students are actually starting their graduate work and doing graduate classes at an undergraduate price. So they actually cut out a year, saving themselves both time and money. They also don't need to apply to graduate school. They're actually automatically accepted coming in as a freshman, which is really great. I mentioned our communication disorders and sciences program, which would lead to a master's degree in speech pathology, which we actually have right here on campus, which is very convenient for these students, or you could go on and get a doctoral in audiology somewhere else. Expeditionary studies is a really unique major here at SUNY Plattsburgh. So here you could actually specialize in backcountry skiing, sea kayaking, or rock climbing. So this leads to careers in outdoor recreation, being a professional outdoor guide, professional ski patroller, things like that. And with Plattsburgh's location right on Lake Champlain and the Adirondack Mountains, I think that lends itself really nicely to that major. Fitness and wellness leadership is also an interesting major at SUNY Plattsburgh. It combines business with exercise science. So that could lead to careers. We talked about athletic training, athletic coaching, being a personalized trainer. If you wanted to maybe work in a gym, run your own gym, or pursue a graduate program within the exercise sciences, that would lead itself to that too. Human development and family relations prepare students to work in human agency settings. Nursing is by far our most competitive program on here from an admissions standpoint. We typically ask that students apply by December 1st. That's our recommended deadline for nursing. We actually move that up a little bit, maybe another month or two earlier, because it is so competitive. We like to see a strong curriculum, definitely in the sciences, definitely chemistry. We like to see strong high school averages and SAT scores there. Nutrition and social work, SUNY Plattsburgh is one of the only SUNY schools to carry either one of these careers, so that makes us very marketable in those professions. Now, at this point, I'm going to turn it over a bit to our faculty. If the two of you maybe wouldn't mind just going a little bit deeper into the majors that you represent to start.
Sure. So I represent the nursing major, and as she said, there's a wide variety of opportunities within the nursing field. Once you go through our program, one thing to know is that after you graduate the program, you have to pass a national licensing exam, and our pass rates are well above the national average. So if you come to our program and you graduate and then you have to take that licensing exam, coming from our program, you're going to do very well doing that. Once you have that license, you can really travel throughout any of the, United States and really throughout the world, traveling around as a nurse. There's many different opportunities. I think that many people think about nurses as people who work in hospitals, and we are really seeing the role of the nurse expand and grow into the community. A lot of places are looking and focusing more at wellness opportunities. So there's opportunities within the hospital always, but also out of the community, outside of the hospital, in the community, and various different places. Another thing about our program that we like to share is that we have a direct entry into nursing. So many programs that you apply to, when you apply as sort of a general undergraduate and you're not in the nursing program. And then after a year or so at the college, then you have to apply to be in the nursing program. Well, when you come to SUNY Plattsburgh, you come right into our major, and there's a few advantages with that. With that, you get a nursing faculty advisor, which means that when you come into our program, I could be your advisor. And that helps because I can really help you look at what you're planning to take in terms of classes and help prepare you and your schedule so that you can best meet the demands of the nursing program. So we're really very, very proud of that because we form really strong relationships with our students. So we're happy certainly to have that. I think that's it.
That sounds wonderful. In teacher education, we are service-oriented because we work with other people's children. You will begin in the first year with sort of an introductory course in education, and you will also begin with what we call a lab, which means you will be given an opportunity every week to go out into local city schools and work with children. You will be given a group of children, and it will be up to you with your other teacher candidate colleagues to plan for them. It is a beautiful hands-on, from the very beginning experience. The kind of readings and materials we use in the classroom are designed to help you out there. So you will have a book called Power of Our Words, and you will think about how we speak to children, and you will be given opportunities to learn how to redirect and refocus and use that language when you're working in reality with children. Students that know they want to be teachers when they go out like going out. It's also an opportunity to maybe realize maybe you don't want to be a teacher, and you can learn that in the first year, and that's an okay thing. And what we would do as your advisors and teachers is help you think about other majors that may or may not be on campus. There's an intimacy in the teacher education program. We're all housed in one building. We all get to know the students in the building. At graduation, my colleagues and I will say, when we see people graduate, we're feeling all kind of choked up because we've known you for 4 years and we've been through things with you in a real way out in the schools. Let's see here. We work. We want you to know this is what you want to do. So there is that in the first year. We don't want you going through a program and not thinking, geez, I don't really want to do this. Somebody else wants me to do this. You want to feel that feeling for yourself. And again, being out early gives you that opportunity. In the program, we spend a lot of time talking about people that aren't us. We talk about the diversity and all the humans that we'll probably have in our classrooms. And this means a real looking inward at ourselves. We pride ourselves on the reflective practicing of this. We stop, we think, is it working, is it not working? What are my biases? What do I need to do to be a better human so I will be a better teacher for the children I serve? So probably the big selling point of the program is this lab and an after-school program. But we also have experiences in the classrooms, and you will be given opportunity to go into classrooms in the local area and be involved with the classroom teacher in terms of helping and doing and, again, working in a daytime capacity as opposed to just the after-school program. So you get two different kinds of field experiences, and what we've noticed, and this is our 5th year doing this lab, that by the time you get to student teaching, you are so ready to step into a classroom and work with the children as a teacher. So that's kind of the beginning of this.
So you touched on this a little, but a lot of the questions we get asked are about on-campus facilities. So I know we have like the nursing skills lab right here on campus, and I know we have like the Sibley daycare, certain facilities right here on campus. Could you two maybe talk a little bit more in depth about those options?
Sure. We have a lab on campus with with mannequins and stuff that you would probably expect a nursing lab to have, with all the equipment and blood pressure cuffs and all of that stuff. One of the things that we do is we partner with the local hospital. So every time they get a new piece of equipment, whether that be an IV pump or a tube feed pump or whatever that is, we make sure that we have that same equipment so that you are learning on the most high-tech, most recent technology available to the nurses at the bedside. The other thing that we have is what's called a Pyxis machine, and it mirrors what the technology that they use at the hospital to deliver safe patient medications. So the steps that you take in the lab to deliver the medications to the mannequins in that practice environment are the exact same thing that you are going to do over in the hospital. And we do that over and over and over again, so you build your confidence. By the time you are working with patients, you're a pro. You feel very confident doing that. So that's always our goal in the lab. The other thing that we have, and we're taking a real investment in, is simulation. So we have 3 high-fidelity simulations. They talk, they breathe, they do all sorts of stuff. So again, we put you in and we create simulations that can potentially happen in the clinical environment. Maybe somebody has trouble breathing or somebody has a very low blood sugar, and we give you the tools and have you practice that in a very safe environment. So the faculty's there with you, we have you run through it, and maybe the first time you miss a couple of things, well, we let you do it again until you feel very comfortable. And we're able to simulate those types of experiences in a safe environment. So again, when you get into the hospital, you feel very comfortable intervening in those sort of high emergency situations. And believe it or not, we have a mannequin that actually delivers babies. So when you do your OB rotation, prior to going in and being with that mom and helping her have her first baby, you get to do that with our simulation doll, Noelle. So again, you get some real hands-on experience there that prepares you for that in-hospital experience. And then most of your clinicals will be done at Champlain Valley Physicians Hospital, which is right across the street from the nursing lab. So usually at, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6:15 in the morning, you'll see a whole bunch of nurses with red coats that are walking across the street to get ready for their clinicals, but it's nice because you don't have to take that half-hour drive or whatever to get there. So the facilities that we use are right across the street, and we've worked with them for so long that they really give us full access to everything, access to the medications, to the patient chart, and the nurses there, most of them are our alumni. So when you go in there, they are so happy to see you, and they partner with you, and they help you. They remember what it's like to be a student. So it's a wonderful place and very supportive environment to learn in the nursing department. So, yeah.
Wow. The baby's born.
I know. Wow. I know.
We don't have that in teaching.
Yeah, right.
We don't have the simulations. We have the real kids. Actually, one of the, I think it's a perk, is that we are near where the child care center is, which is birth to 4 or 5 years old. And so you will see the babies going through the hallways, and we remind them that's why we're here, those little people right there.
My son goes there. It's wonderful.
I know, and it makes us all happy, except I did say one day, oh, that's why we're here, it's all happy, and then the baby, They're not always happy. But we have, in a similar way, when we go out into the schools, it's a lot of the Plattsburgh alums. So it is a very welcoming environment, and they are very much in tune with paying it forward, wanting us to continue the work that they're in. And so that piece is nice because we're so close to the schools. We do use the Child Care Center in Sibley sometimes. We have volunteers that work in the center. We have some of our students that work in the center and get paid. Sometimes our classes actually use the center for observations to go in and help with the children. So that's been a part of our history, but with our lab, we don't really have that need in the same way because we have real kids that are right out there in much the same way we can walk to the school, we can walk to our lab. So there are parallels in our service, but you win with a simulation.
Can you tell us about any classes that you teach, the things you hope your students learn from your classes?
I hope they will learn empathy. I hope they will learn compassion, that we will be less judgmental of people who aren't like us. And I hope that they will be constantly reflecting about what they do and don't do so they can be better. It's through our mistakes. It's those moments when we go, I wish I didn't do it that, or I wish I did this, that we go, okay, now next time we don't have to play it that way. And I guess I hope we'll all be better people through our class and coursework.
I just love doing this presentation with you because I would say in the nursing department it's the same thing. You know, we want, and through simulation and through the experiences in clinical, one of the things that we really focus on is the same thing that Teacher Ed does, is that concept of reflective practice. So you went in today and you took care of a patient, and maybe this patient was very ill, and maybe they were not, you know, as kind to you as you thought they would be, but learning to understand their perspective and where they're coming from and how everything that you were able to provide them really is such a gift for them, whether or not they said thank you, whether or not it seemed like they appreciated it, because you were there during a very, very difficult time for them. So understanding, you know, how you feel about that, how to process that, how you can, learn from every experience and do it better next time. And I think that's what, as faculty, we're really very good about, is encouraging you to be reflective about, and so that even after you graduate, you are continuing to grow in the profession and develop and have the confidence to know what you know and know what you don't know and be okay with that. So I primarily teach in simulation and clinical, so really those applied learning experiences. So that's, I say that's what we really want our students to get out of those experiences. So
we have a question about class sizes. What would you say your average class sizes are? Do you feel like you get to know your students personally?
That's a great question. Our bigger classes are then broken up into smaller parts. So sometimes we do have classes of 50 in our bigger med-surg, medical surgical classes, pathophysiology, pharmacology, that type of thing. But then those classes are broken down into smaller components in the laboratory setting where there's no more than 10 students per instructor. And then clinical, you'll have no more than 8 students per instructor. And we're really trying to whittle that down even more, where there's maybe 6 students per instructor. So while you may have a very large lecture-type classroom, we still do make it very interactive, but in that same class, we break it down into smaller groups, so you do get that individual attention. And, I'll echo some of the stuff she was saying, in that we are very much a community. When you graduate, much like you guys do, we cry. We feel like we've been on a journey with you for the 4 years that you're here. So, yes, there are some big classes, but I do feel like through us being your advisors and through the smaller clinical groups that we're able to really have a very close-knit community. So.
And for us, our class, we don't have the big groups like that. That's sometimes your general ed courses that are much like your sciences. Sure. We probably between 18 and 24, and it does become very intimate. We know each other after we're working with each other. Essentially, even out in the schools, when you go out to the after-school program, it's our lab, it's smaller groups, and you have a lot of, you just get to see what's happening with the teacher candidates and the children in the schools, and then when you talk about it and you think about what worked well, why did it, if you had to do it again, what would you do differently? And that, again, that reflective practicing that we both have is a critical piece of what we do. So, yeah, that's where we are.
Great. So I see a couple more questions coming in. One is, does Plattsburgh have teaching as a second language? And I don't believe so. I don't know if you could.
You mean as a course, probably? No, through the education program, we have, we talk about English language learners and us being sensitive and looking at pedagogy and instructional ways to help English language learners. But we don't have that program per se that you could become a teacher of English language learners.
On the flip side, we do have an English as a second language program if you're somebody coming in internationally or whatnot, and you need a little extra support with your English before enrolling full-time. We do have that. It's called our ESL program. So there's that for you. I see another question about nutrition. I'm actually going to hold off on this since we have Andrea here, who's our nutrition major. I think she would be the best person to answer that question. So those are all the questions on the screen. Do either of you, we have a few minutes left, would either of you want to leave our students here with anything before you wrap up?
Well, you addressed it at the beginning, but we do have a combined program, and we're like nursing. We have the state that tells us what you have to do in order to get certified. And one of our programs, the combined special ed, is one of those places where if you qualify and you keep your GPA up, you could have 4 certification areas, pre-K or birth to second, regular education, special education, and grades 1 through 6, regular education, special education. And our students are getting jobs, and we've been very happy. It's just and again, like if somebody says they got a job and they keep us posted, we go share these jobs and we're all happy for them. We're in a time period, and I believe our certification areas, and like nursing, we try to prepare you for that so you can have success on those tests. So that piece is important to think about, and it's worked well for a lot of our students.
Wonderful. And just speaking of job placement, we were just looking at our numbers, and it's 100% after graduation. And I think one of the most exciting times for us, too, is connecting with our recent graduates and learning about what they're doing. We have a program in our senior year, the senior preceptorship, where you can actually do a clinical rotation at a hospital near your home location. For example, 2 of our students last year live near Memorial Sloan Kettering. I was able to partner with them to create a clinical experience for them, an 80-hour clinical experience for them, and they now both have jobs working at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York. So just wonderful opportunities coming out of our nursing program. Sometimes I get a little jealous of our graduates and want to go with them. Yeah. But wonderful job opportunities, and certainly we have different hospitals actually coming to us asking if they can come and recruit our nurses. St. Peter's is one, Albany Medical Center is another, Glens Falls Hospital more recently. So hospitals are reaching out to us and saying, can we come up there and please recruit your graduates? So it's really wonderful to have that.
And one other piece, because you reminded me, because of the city, we do have student teaching experiences in New York City. We have wonderful supervisors down there, and that's a very different experience than working up in this area. We do have different locations, but our city location, our students really get a sense of people from all different walks of life, and and if they want to stay down there, they're pretty much getting that job down there, which is really nice.
Yeah. We actually got a couple other questions in the meantime. The first one is, do we offer a Spanish adolescent education major, and I believe that's a yes.
Yes,
So we have a Spanish bachelor's program, and then you would go on.
It's in the combined, I think.
BAMST, yep. So you could get the Spanish bachelor's.
It's a different combined, not the one I just talked about.
Oh, sorry.
That's adolescent, yeah.
So yes, we do. You get a bachelor's and master's degree in that field, and be prepared. I saw that communication disorders can be a major as well as a minor. What exactly does a minor mean? So minors are typically around 18 credits, and they're there to supplement another major. So you can't major and minor in the same topic. You'd have to, if you were interested in CDS, it would be as a minor, you'd have to choose another major to study, and that would really be to supplement whatever you chose your major to be. So it's basically CDS just on a smaller scale. I would recommend, if you're interested, to go to our website and click on Communication Disorders and Sciences. As a minor, you can actually see the specific curriculum that you would have to take both for a major and a minor. So you can decide then if it's something that you want to major in full-time, or if it's something you just want to supplement your whatever you choose as a major to be. I would just add a caveat. I was on a curriculum committee today, and it's an interesting question. It was about the CDS minor, and they are revising but improving. That they're really very happy with giving some choices. And anyway, it's being revised and approved for revision today. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Good timing. All right. So I think we got through all the questions for you all. I think you guys are all set.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
And you're in for a treat with the students coming.
All right, let's walk out. Thank you guys so much for coming. All right, I'll get out of your way. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's first take a minute to introduce both of yourselves. Maybe tell us your major and your hometown region and what year you are in school.
Hi, I'm Andrea. I am in the early childhood special education major. I'm in that 5-year program. I'm from Monroe, New York, which is like an hour outside of the city. And I'm a junior.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Lopez. I am currently a senior. I am a double major in nutrition and Latin American studies, and I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Great. So the first question I'm going to get to is the one that somebody asked. He was asking about internships or jobs within nutrition. What can you speak to with that?
Sure. So just an overview, our nutrition program is an accredited program through the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Basically what that means is it's a 4-year program that's been approved, and it's always constantly revised, and it leads you to be a registered dietitian. So you have a lot of options here after doing your 4 years, and it's a well-rounded program in the aspect that it gives you kind of a clinical side. So right now I'm taking medical nutrition therapy. It gives you community nutrition, and it gives you food service. So you could basically, after the 4-year program, you could apply to a master's degree, which will be required for every registered dietitian if that's the side that you want, in 2024, I think. And I think on campus they're trying to do that, but it's a long-term thing. You could also apply for a dietetic internship, and basically you do like a 1-year practicum after college, and it's super competitive, but a lot of our recent graduates, they do get accepted to this in other places, or you could work through nutritional education, you could do other job opportunities, but mostly the 3 main areas is community nutrition, clinical, but for clinical you would have to be a registered dietitian for that just because it's more requirements and more work of study, and food service as well. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You answered that much better than I did. Okay, so how many classes do you have to take as a freshman is a question that we just got. So typically we advise freshmen to take 15 credits, which is about 5 classes. That's the average that we recommend. What did you guys take both as freshmen and kind of moving through and up through?
Both semesters freshman year I took 15 credits. There was one semester I took 18, but normally I take 15, around 15.
I took 18 credits.
Your freshman year?
My freshman year I took 18 credits, but since the start, you learned about time management, which is a big thing, balancing out. And since there were general education courses, some classes were like 1 credit, 2 credits, so it wasn't that, intense.
Speaking of that, a question we always get is how is college different from high school in terms of academics? What changes did you have to make in your schedule and routine moving from the two?
I think getting used to the fact that you do a lot more work outside of the classroom was something you definitely had to get used to, was something I had to get used to, and just learning when to do it and when to like stop and go do social things, that was definitely something I had to learn.
Yeah, definitely the flexibility of you setting up your own schedule. I mean, besides classes, you set up your own work study, you set up your own time for social events, for social like clubs and organizations as well, and for other activities that you want. And also another thing about like high school and college is that you get an advisor, so basically like a guidance counselor, but it's a transition within college. So within your academic department, whether you're undeclared or declared, you get an advisor that will guide you within your 4 years, and basically they're there for you either professionally, personally, and they allow you to select classes and like, what classes to take and kind of like set up your 4 years and how that would look like.
So we just got a question in, why did you choose SUNY Plattsburgh over other colleges?
The biggest thing for me was the 5-year education program. There really wasn't a college for me that had everything I needed and the 5-year program. Like she said earlier, I'm saving a year, and with these 4 certifications, it's really much easier to get a job. Even now in the education field, even general ed teachers, they really like you to have a special ed degree, so it's nice that we have that option.
Yeah, I think also as a nutrition major, you want to find that accreditation and that experience that Plattsburgh has. Also, I think a big thing is visiting the campus and kind of like looking at the services that provide, the resources available, and just the campus itself, and you could kind of get a vibe of what student life is like and the diversity within Plattsburgh as well.
So we asked the professors this, but what has your experience been in terms of class sizes and just getting to know your professors, professor accessibility?
I was actually surprised because I thought college it would be harder to talk to your professors. I didn't think I would have that personal relationship. I was completely surprised that freshman year, my first class I took, my professor was my advisor. So right then and there, she got to know me on a personal level. I meet with her all the time. I see her all the time. And then in my classes, like especially my education classes, I know every single person in my class. I know details about every single person in my class. So it's really like a sense of community, not only with the students in the classes, but with the professors, which is so nice to have.
Yeah, like Andrea said, it's a lot about sense of community. I know class sizes are not that large, so you get to meet your peers, you get challenged by your peers, and also it's very much of like you help each other out. Even the professors, I know from day one, like since they present the syllabus, they give you your office hours. They say if these hours are not available, you could definitely see me by appointment. And most of your professors within your academic major is your advisor, so you get to see them more than once a semester. So it's really nice to have that support.
So another question that we just got is that in some universities you can get locked out of a class and won't be able to take it until the next semester. Does this happen at Plattsburgh? So I can give you the rundown of kind of how it works, and that is the higher up you are in terms of being an upperclassman, first dibs is yours for classes. And they do that so if you need a class in order to graduate or you need a class to be in a certain sequence within your major, you're able to get in before any freshmen or sophomores to get that upper level class that you need to either graduate or move on to the next level. So we don't have too many problems because of the way that's set up of people taking the classes that they need to get into. As a freshman, as an incoming freshman, your schedule is wide open and you have a lot of different availability in terms of all the gen eds you need to take, all the entry-level classes you need to take. Your scale is just much more wide open. How was your experience, I would say, in terms of both registering for classes as an incoming freshman and then just, moving up through?
I know for the education classes, they're not really open to students who aren't in that major, and they also pre-register you for the education classes so that you're always taking it so that you're on track, at least for the education classes. For the other classes, you have time. So if for some reason you can't take one particular class, you'll be able to eventually. So it's never been a problem for me. I've always gotten into classes I wanted to get into eventually.
Oh, same. Same for me. I think every academic department has their 4-year setup. So you have a specific courses that you need to take and a lot of prerequisites like you both mentioned. So you're not going to take an advanced chemistry course or biochemistry without taking Chemistry 101. And you have to take Chemistry 101. So sometimes you have to talk directly to a professor so you could go in. And I also had other courses like general education courses that may not be in my major, but if you talk with the professor, they're very flexible in letting you take that class if you're really interested in.
I would say that too, if you ever find that you really want to take a class and you can't wait until next semester, a lot of times if you just email the professor, they'll make that exception in some cases. So keep that in mind too. We got another question. What has been your favorite class so far?
So last year I took a class called Diversity and Social Justice. It's one of the education classes, and it's all about recognizing your own hidden biases in yourself and things that you haven't thought about, just so that you don't have biases towards other people. And it's like a new way of thinking and something I never thought about in high school until I came to college, and I think that's what college is really about, and it has made me a better future teacher.
I love online classes. No, really. I think I take away a lot from each classes, but I would say in every class. I'll mention community nutrition just because I'm really interested in that. We do a lot of in-class and off-campus work, so we did a scavenger hunt type thing. So we went to the food co-op, we went to the senior citizen center, we went to other places where the interfaith food shelf as well. So all of these not only in class, but you're also reaching out to the community itself and all these available opportunities that you have and experiential learning opportunities within your class. So it gives a different perspective, and also it's very interesting when you have those opportunities within the classroom.
So kind of going off of that, who has been your favorite teacher and why?
I really do love all my professors. Oh my gosh. One of my favorites is definitely my advisor, but she was also my professor for my freshman year. Her name is Dr. Schnackenberg. She's also the head of the Early Childhood Special Education Program. She's just always been there. You know, it was always someone that I could go and talk to if I was having trouble in a class or if I just needed someone to talk to about college. And she's just taught me so much. I don't think I'll ever forget her.
Yeah, I also would agree with my advisor, Professor Joe. So her nickname is Joe, but it's like Juran. I think she's from Norway, so it's shorter that way. Actually, she changed as my advisor, and basically she has been such a support to me in the classroom and outside with her personal life. She's also had a lot of experiences in Norway and here in the United States and Vermont as well. She worked there. So kind of getting her experience as a dietitian, and not only that, but kind of setting up a new generation of dietitians is kind of inspiring, and kind of really that support that you need when you go and take 18 credits every semester, and you kind of need that support.
Can you guys tell us about any internships that you've done or any outside hands-on experiential learning opportunities?
So like Jean Macri said earlier, we have something called, it's like our lab, it's Project Connect, and we basically run an after-school program, and we actually create lesson plans and activities to do with the kids. And coming into college, I was like, I'm great with kids. I know exactly how to work with kids, but I didn't realize how much I needed to learn. And now that I'm a junior, I realize how much I have learned just from doing that alone. Because they, the professors, especially in the education department, they always say you learn best by doing, just like they want us to teach children in the classroom. So I've definitely learned a lot through there. And we go into the schools every semester, and we actually observe a classroom teacher and work in small groups with kids. So that's been really rewarding as well, and I've learned a lot from that.
I did a short-term study abroad in Costa Rica just because I guess I didn't really think about study abroad at first, but the nursing department actually, it was kind of a community outreach, also environmental health, and also if you're a nursing major and you went to the trip, you could also do some of your clinical hours through that. So I was really interested. It was a 2-week program during the winter. We went to Costa Rica. We kind of did a community outreach program. We kind of learned about diverse groups in Costa Rica, so that was a really nice experience.
So I don't know if you meant to, but you actually...
I was going to mention Costa Rica, but then I saw the question. Someone asked about study abroad program, and there's a lot of options with the study abroad. I don't know if you want to elaborate more.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, as part of the SUNY system, there's actually over 500 locations to choose from to study abroad because all 64 SUNY colleges will work together with their study abroad programs. So Plattsburgh itself has maybe 12 or 13, and then we work with every other SUNY school, and we can work with any of those programs. So then it leads to over 500 locations in the world. So you can pretty much study literally wherever you want to go. We have a study abroad advisor here. She's wonderful, and if you have any interest at all, she'll sit down and meet with you. She'll go over your schedule and figure out how the logistics of it all will work. So we have a great global education office here that is so supportive and so helpful, and study abroad is definitely something that we strongly encourage. Getting back to the other question about any internships or hands-on experiences besides going to Costa Rica, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, I've gone to several conferences. I went to the New York State Dietetic Conference. It's through the Nutrition Department and also as the Nutrition Association Club, where we get all the funding. We usually send around 5 to 10 people each year. And it's a good networking opportunity. I think first year was in Albany, New York, then in Tarrytown. And it's just a way to get that experiential learning, like kind of like not only we go to class, but we also network with other future dietitians. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So we just got another question, and this may be more for you. This student wants to work with children with disabilities. What is there for that?
So that would be probably your best bet would be the program I'm in, the Early Childhood Special Education Program. So you'll have your bachelor's and your master's in general ed and special ed. What I really like about this program is that we start learning about children with disabilities from the very beginning. So it's kind of worked in through the program, not just at the end when we're taking most of the special ed classes. A lot of what we learn about is how to differentiate each child and teach each child so that they learn the most. So I think that this college, like especially Plattsburgh, is really focused on children with disabilities. We do a day of different abilities. We call it different abilities here sometimes, where we go around and we just like see what it would be like to have one of those different abilities just so we understand. And then there's also different clubs on campus. Like we have Autism Speaks, which promotes learning about children with autism. And then we also have, I'm the president of Council for Exceptional Children. And so it's a really good way to learn about children with different abilities as well.
Great, thank you. So that is actually all of the questions. If you want to wrap, is there anything that you wanted to tell the students to kind of finish off here? Any advice maybe that you would give them?
My advice would be to try your best to get to campus. I know when I got here, right when I pulled off the exit, I realized that Plattsburgh was so alive, and you just typically see that in a college town. It's like a very nice community here, and that was something that really drew me, and I felt very at home. I think you kind of know when you go to a college, right, when you step on campus, if you want to be here, and I think it's a really good experience. Just come and see if you like it, because it's just done so much for me. So.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, to kind of be open-minded about your options, and definitely, like, in SUNY Plattsburgh, I think we have, like, solid our department, and each major has their own, like, they've built up on so much, and they have all of these opportunities that students can go into, and honestly, you could do anything if you have the mindset of it, and to not be afraid to take those opportunities, because once you take them, you learn and you grow as a person, you're filled with knowledge, and you're like ready to take your next steps, and like it's a nice vibe. And also SUNY Plattsburgh itself, I think all the students and student organizations, and I'm sure you're very involved on campus as I am, so you're always doing something for the benefit of your growth personally, and I think your academics and all your support systems and all the resources that are available here on campus are exceptional.
Great. Well, thank you guys both so much for being here. I just have one more quick slide to get through. I did mention earlier on in this presentation, if you're interested in logging on to BLS.gov. That's where I got my facts and figures and statistics. So if you're interested in learning more about certain jobs and their salaries and job growth, I'd recommend you check out that website there. And the last thing I wanted to mention tonight kind of goes off with what they're saying. Visit campus. If anything we said tonight sounded interesting or enticing to you, I would definitely recommend coming up to see us to feel if this is a good fit for you. So your best options for that, we have 2 open houses this fall, October 29th and November 12th. There's the most going on, so it's kind of the best bang for your buck. You can meet with faculty. We have student-guided tours. There's an admissions presentation. There's a student services fair. There's residence hall tours. There's so much going on. So if you're interested in visiting, I definitely recommend checking us out there. So when I exit out of this presentation, you'll actually be brought to a link where you can see all the different events that we offer on campus. So if you are interested, you could easily register that way. So that actually wraps it up for tonight. I want to thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We had a great time, and hopefully we see you on campus soon. Bye.